So here in Infoblox, we are actually revolutionizing the core foundational network services on top of DNS security as well. So when we say, revolutionizing the core foundational services, here we need to just double click on some of the challenges that these days organizations are facing, which is, cloud adoption with the increase of security threats landscape that has been, we are, seeing across in our region and globally as well. So this is where Infoblox comes in and how we can help these organizations to better adapt their cloud journey and removing all those silos when they're adapting on-premises infrastructure as well as multiple cloud environments. So I feel we can see Infoblox as when you're securing your digital city, that's how Infoblox is helping the organization, where we have universal DDI, which is our flagship product. Right now we introduced universal DDI, where it breaks all those silos and provide the full control to the organizations whenever they are moving to provide new services or meantime to market those services. This is where Infoblox comes in handy. And in addition to that, we recently introduced Assets Insight, which is you can see Assets Insight as a surveillance environment for any smart city, where they will Assets Insight will give you the full visibility of where your resources are, if there is any zombie resources in your cloud environment. These are a lot of challenges that organizations they have recently with those kind of workloads. When you're breaking the silos, this is where everything comes in exciting, and we will pull in the information whatever you have in your multiple cloud environments, and then give you the visibility and give you the control, as well as on top of it reducing some of the expenses that you are doing in your cloud environments. We need to understand organizations these days, they have very demanding needs in a very competitive market. That's why organizations, they are going for cloud adoption and to bring their services to the market as soon as possible, in a competitive market. This is where these challenges, some of the challenges what we have observed, and while I was speaking with some of the customers in GITEX as well, they face a lot of challenges while they are adopting the cloud journey. And when I double click on what are the challenges they are facing, so in some of the cases they have some cloud teams or some development teams, they are running some of the services in their cloud for a certain period of time, and they forget to remove all these services. And we know in all the hyperscalers, they are actually charging any organization for the workloads that are present in any of the organization, any of their tenant, actually, cloud tenants. And this is where we are actually doing two things, predominantly. What is, imagine whenever we have to launch a service or do any change. So this change needs to go into multiple teams, because the infrastructure that has been handled for the on-premises environment is totally different, and the infrastructure the team was handling on the cloud is totally different. So this is where whenever there is a change, it has to be communicated with all these teams, and in some point in time, it requires multiple days to implement these changes. This is where Infoblox comes in, and we take all the control and management. So we are removing the management with the data plane. So you keep using your data services over there, or maybe it Azure DNS or AWS Route 53 or on-premises Microsoft DNS, and we'll have the control from Infoblox portal, and will provide right away, as soon as there is a change, it will be automatically published from Infoblox portal to all of these different siloed core network services. On top of it, imagine with the remote workloads and IoT influx of a huge IoT influx, this is where you would like to understand what is going on in all of your branches, even if those branches does not have any resources. And Nios X as a service, we have recently launched our purely SaaS-based, services for core network services. This is actually revolutionizing how previously we were adapting the foundation services, which is DNS, DSCP, and IP address management, to get the full visibility on your core services, control on how you want your users to communicate with the outer world. On top of that, the security as well from our DNS, flagship DNS security. When we talk about universal DDI, so imagine an organization which has multiple workloads sitting in maybe Google or somewhere in across the region, and they also have some workloads in their branches as well. So they wanted to manage everything from a centralized view. Why? Because they want to remove all the silos and having the control in their environment. This is where Infoblox introduced Universal DDI, which can manage your Azure DNS or AWS Route 53 or your on-premises Microsoft, or if you're using traditional Nios, which has been our flagship product for last 25 years. So you can manage all of these. Imagine everything you can manage from a centralized view, so you can break all those silos with our universal DDI. On top of it, if you have any branches where you do not have any potential servers or heavy workloads, you have maybe simple router or firewall. You just need to connect, our through our IPsec VPN, and this is where Nios X as a service comes in really handy. Again, we are managing through universal DDI. Okay. Similarly, for the asset inside, whatever workloads you have within, be it in your on-premises or with the adoption of cloud-first environment, you can have all these workloads visible to you in a single pane of glass. You will be aware what is running in your Azure, what is running in AWS. If there is any zombie workloads, if there are records that has stale records that are there already, all these things you will be able to get the visibility from Asset Insight. On top of it, Asset Insight will also give you the visibility on what type of resources these workloads are utilizing. So it will help you to better better gauge your investment in the hyperscalers, be it Azure, AWS, or Google. Globally, we have seen a lot of cloud-first approach within the organization. Now, with this current era what we are in the Middle East specifically, we see a lot of organizations, they are adapting cloud-first approach. However, they have been a victim of these kind of challenges they face in their day-to-day operations, and this is where Infoblox comes in. So imagine, let me give you a small analogy. Imagine there is a because we are here in Dubai, so I'll give you an example from a sea. So imagine there is stormy waves are coming in, and you have to streamline your shipping industry and these kind of things. So you need the smart control for all of your ships to be in line, to align and remove all the silos and working in a harmony. And this is where universal DDI comes in handy. And you also need to understand what kind of threats can be potentially occur when we have stale records or zombie workloads over there. This is where Asset Insights will give you the full visibility of your fleet of your ships. And similarly, for Nios X service, you can deploy these services wherever you want, whenever you want, and however you want, actually. So this gives you the full flexibility and visibility. On top of that, the full control that you are gonna get. One more thing that I would like here to highlight is the new licensing model what we have come across. So and this is not widely adopted. Today also we all use Netflix, correct? And the remote control is the control what gives you the actual control for what you want to see, when you want to see, where you want to see, and how many times you want to see. And this is where our licensing model are now. We have changed our licensing model from traditional services based or servers based licensing model to token based. Now let me just give you a quick overview for how we are measuring our token based licenses. So imagine you want to manage your DNS DHCP across an IP address management across your multiple infrastructures, but tomorrow you have a need that maybe I don't need the DHCP and I am more utilizing my DNS services. So this gives you the flexibility not to reinvest on something, but just relocate those tokens to your DNS management, and it will help you with your DNS manageability across your multiple environment, and vice versa as well. If you feel the need for more IP address management, you can go over there. Similarly for the reporting tokens, so now we are changing our licensing model to token model as well. So this is where you have an ecosystem integration. So you can, if you feel the need for more ecosystem integration, like tomorrow, right now you have, let's say, 5 security tools that you want to integrate with, with Infoblox. Tomorrow you have 7 or 10. So you want to have more ecosystem integrations, you can just relocate those tokens towards ecosystem integration, and there you go. The region what we are in right now, with unfortunately the situations what we have, geopolitical situation and these ones, we see more and more state-sponsored threats. We see more and more malwares, are there. So I see any organization as a fortress, a digital fortress actually, and this is where we have to be proactive, not reactive. Actually, unfortunately, most of our existing tools, existing security tools, with all the due respect what they are doing, which is amazing, but most of these tools, they are actually waiting for the first incident to happen, and then they take the corrective actions to reduce the mean time to response, mean time to detect, and these ones. But they are majorly doing for the detection purpose, not proactive actually. So that's where Infoblox have changed and revolutionized the cybersecurity approach as well. And this is where we are. We are going ahead of, like, let's say I take an analogy of the 0 day as a light speed. So we are actually going before that, even before getting time. So we are analyzing even the threat adversary even before they start doing the malicious activity. So just let me give you a quick overview of how usually the threat actors they are behaving. So it's similarly what we do, utilize the services from the organizations what we know, and the applications what are readily available. So imagine if I have to utilize an ERP. So I'm not going to go and reinvent the wheel. I'm just going to go and utilize the well-known ERP solution and CRM solutions to begin my operations. And this is where the threat intelligence, the threat actors also, they are also utilizing their different services to come up with a full potential campaign. And as part of the campaigns, they have to create their own infrastructures. And this is where they have to maybe create some domains and some IP addresses allocation, and there is a hefty work they do actually. So what Infoblox is doing, instead of reacting to any threat that has been occurred already in any organization, we are actually going after those threat adversaries. So even before they start doing the malicious activity or start doing their malware campaigns, we are getting all these details from their infrastructure and pulling in our threat feeds. So even before whenever they start doing the malicious activity, it will be stopped at the very basic layer, at the very initial layer, which is DNS. We've been talking about the security and what are the challenges that we see. This is again coming back to unfortunate geopolitical situation that we see in the region, and we see a lot of state-sponsored threats, malwares. They are using artificial intelligence as well. So this is where I feel organizations like Infoblox, we need to adapt the AI induction, more and more machine learning and artificial intelligence in our security tools. And this is where we have come up with zero-day DNS kind of solutions, and threat intelligence, which is machine learning and utilizing the machine learning and behavioral analytics to the solution actually. Okay, so I feel the security, cybersecurity tools needs to be enhanced to cope up with the more and more advanced needs and proactive approach with the proactive approach to stop those threats. While they are also using artificial intelligence and these kind of technologies, we also have to adapt the similar technologies to counter them. Choosing the right solution, be it in cybersecurity or any part of the organization, it's like buying a new car. So understanding how it runs and then what is the horsepower, how it's comfortable, based on your needs. It should be based on your needs actually. Maybe someone wants to do the off-roading often, so they'll go for four-wheel drive. But others, they might have long drives with families, so it has to cope up with the tailored approach needs to be there. This is where Infoblox solution architects and we come up with a tailored approach to understand what exactly is the need, because look, every organization have developed these foundational services in a very different ways. Everyone has a different ways, and I believe most of the organizations, they are not even looking at those core services, sitting in the cornerstone. So this is where we comes in, and we have certain tools to analyze their whole infrastructure, what is happening in their on-premises environment, what is happening on their cloud approach, what they are doing for their remote users as well, and how they are handling their thin branches also, and coping up with the IoT demands. So all these things. So Infoblox solution architects, we actually look into all these things because we are dealing with a very foundational services, which usually I call as the heart of any organization, and this is where we try to understand how exactly you have developed your infrastructure, and then we try to tailor it. Again, going back to the new car, we would understand how you want to do, what type of tires you would need actually, where exactly you want, and at the same point, the solutions these days should also give you as an organization to the flexibility how you want to use them actually. And this is where our token-based licensing comes in handy, and with the full comprehensive visibility and cohesive security as well, it will give you the full flexibility how you want to approach, and aligning with your vision, with the organization's vision together. We need to give an experience like a global airlines. Okay, and this is where exclusive networks have been very very helping us as Infoblox. Partnering with them is giving us a lot of value, from starting from very initial creating an awareness till implementing, and then the after sales support as well, and across the region. So it helps us wherever we want their support, and whenever we want their support, they are there, and I really value this partnership.